What's up, guys? We are live for UFC Vegas 19. We're going to be giving some final thoughts, talking some weigh-ins, which weigh-ins was absolutely insane today. Going to be talking some betting, talking some Draftkings, talking some strategy, all that good stuff. And yeah, we have a 14 fight card now. Was supposed to be 15. Sadly, we lost the Sabatini-Alves fight, which is a fight I really wanted to see play out. I had a bet on Sabatini at like plus 168. Yeah, I mean, they weren't going to fight after Alves missed weight by nearly like 12 pounds. He didn't just miss weight, he missed the weight class. So, oh my goodness, that was insane. I think they said it was like a record of most weight missed, and it was crazy. So, that happened. As expected, though. I mean, we weren't expecting to get 15 fights on the card. I mean, there is bound to at least be one. So, would have rather like a Vieira, Kunitskaya fall off, but that was a good fight. I really wanted to see that. So, what's up, everybody in the chat? If you can hit the like button, would really appreciate that. See you guys in the chat. Smith's MMA, let's go. Happy Friday. What's good? What's good, Joey? What's up, Gaming Wolf? What's up? Can't wait to hear your insights on all these fighters missing weight. Yeah, it was crazy. We had 4 fighters miss weight, and we had 3 of them miss weight by like 4 or more pounds. So, my goodness. But what can you say? We're in Vegas. So it's in the chat. Michael in the chat. What's up, Jax Ray? It is time. Yep, a lot of weight misses. What's up, Bill? Yeah, 14 is still stacked. I mean, I'm happy with 14. I'm happy with there's a lot of great fights on this card as well. So hopefully we lose some women's MMA fights. Yeah, we have 2 on this card, and both of them are not great, but it's like the card as a whole is pretty good. Let's go. I agree. I agree. Let's talk some Alves, man. That was crazy. 12 and a half pounds or 11 and a half pounds? Wasn't even close. I mean, well, yeah, what's the point of weighing in, man? Let's see here. Andy Randy, what is going on, man? How's your evening? As always, we are all waiting for your show. What's going on, Andy? Pretty good evening. Been working all day, trying to finish up some last-second research, get some final bets out. Finish some last-second content as well. So been busy today, but ready to get into it. What's up, Will, in the chat? See you guys. All right, so before we get started, if you guys can please hit the like button, would really appreciate that a lot. Let's try to get 150 by the time we get out of here. That'd be pretty awesome there. And then hit the sub button. I think we're like 300 away from 10K. Would love to get there by, say, UFC 259, which is a stacked card. I can't wait for it. But if we can get to 10K by UFC 259, that would be awesome. Also do want to shout out to the sponsor, Pub Sports Radio. So we are going live tomorrow on the new YouTube channel, Pub Sports Radio Live. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you guys can do me a huge favor, go over there, hit the sub button. And I'm going to be on there tomorrow as well. We're going to talk some live bets, some live commentary. If you want someone to hang out with while you watch the fights per se, go check it out tomorrow. So I'll put that in the chat there. So if you guys can hit the sub button, that would be highly appreciated. But other than that, we're going to get right into it. I have 5 bets for this card. Like I said, I had 6 bets until Sabatini fight was off, but still 5 bets. But we're going to get into it here. It could be a weekend for underdogs. I think I'm picking like a decent amount. I want to say like 4 or 5 underdogs I'm picking. So I do think the dogs could be barking this week. What's up, Jacob? See you guys in the chat. What's up, Mo? The brain. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So, Olynyk by sub, possibly. Yeah, man. I thought Pat he had multiple paths to victory, whether it was grinding out a decision or possibly being the 7th person to submit Alves, but we won't get to see it play out. I agree. Next pay-per-view is stacked. You got 500 on Sabatini, man. Really sucks. Yeah, I put some on him as well. It does suck. Anthony Hernandez, he did it. He pulled off the big upset there. And it just so happens we have another Vieira on this card. So that's that. Hello from Scotland. Hello, Dale. How you doing? What's good, Jack Attack? What's up, Jimbo? Olynyk looked a little... I mean, the dude's 44. Yeah, the dude's an old man, 70 fights. So, all right. So getting into the first fight of the night, we have Sergey Spivak versus Jared Vandara. And, just based off my breakdown I posted earlier in the week, Vandara's slow. Vandara's a really slow heavyweight. I think Spivak's going to have a massive advantage on the feet with the boxing with the hands. When it comes to the ground game, Vandara is a black belt in BJJ. If he can get on top, he'll have a lot of success. He has some really nasty ground and pound, but that's really the only path to victory I see for him. And Spivak's not bad on the mat himself, very good wrestler himself. Very strong guy. And at the weigh-ins, it kind of surprised me because on paper, Vandara is an inch taller than Spivak, but at the weigh-ins, Spivak looked good, like 2 or 3 inches taller. He looked lean. He looked fit. He looked in shape, and I really can't say the same thing about Jared Vandara. Jared Vandara did not look lean, did not look in the greatest of shape. So I like Spivak before seeing the weigh-ins, but after seeing the weigh-ins, I like Spivak just a little bit more. So what I did was I parlayed Spivak with somebody later on the card who we'll talk about, but I think Spivak's a pretty decent parlay piece, and he can win this fight pretty much anywhere. But like I said, if Vandara is able to get on top, which easier said than done, I think he can have some success, but on the feet, it's going to be Spivak all day. I mean, he's going to be so much faster. He's going to be having the more experience, fought the better fighters, and I like Spivak. I think he's a pretty solid fighter, and the dude's young as well. I want to say he's like 25 or 26 years old. I think he has a lot of upside, and just not impressed with what I've seen from Vandara. And then adding on to the weigh-ins, I really don't hate Spivak as a parlay piece. So as far as DraftKings, first fight of the night, you guys know how I feel about it. I don't hate this fight on DraftKings. So combined with these two fighters, I do want to touch on some numbers here. Both guys have a 90% finish rate. Spivak with a 90% finish rate. Vandara with a 91% finish rate. Both guys in a combined, 20, I'm not great at math, but 23 fights, I think. Both guys have only won a combined 2 decisions. So I would not be shocked if this fight ended inside the distance. And I don't think anybody's playing this fight. I mean, it's the first fight of the night, which is usually low owned in general. But we got to remember, these guys are heavyweights. These guys hit hard. And if Vandara can get on top of Spivak, he could get that finish. Or I could see Spivak getting a late finish. I can see Vandara tiring out, Spivak really putting it on him. I'm taking him down later in the fight, getting him out of there with some ground and pound. So, yeah, I kind of like both sides here on DraftKings. You get the savings of $2,000 on Vandara as a nice pump play. But as far as Spivak, I think he's going to be so low owned because you have guys like Tom Aspinall up there. You have guys like, of course, Curtis Blaydes up there. So I do think this fight goes under owned, and I do think it has a chance of finishing. I mean, they're heavyweights. So I will be targeting this in DraftKings. I'm not going crazy on it, but it is something to note there. But like I said, I do have Sergey Spivak in a parlay. So what do you guys have in this one? Yeah, I like Spivak here. So Spivak is in better shape, and Spivak with his sub experience will get the victory by sub. That'd be interesting. When do you see Spivak do anything besides wrestle? Did you watch the last fight with him and Philippe? I mean, he looked pretty good. I mean, Philippe has some fast hands. He looked pretty good there. But yeah, he could take down Vandara for sure. The problem with Spivak on DK is his price based on the odds. That's true. I can't play him and Blaydes in the same lineups. Yeah, of course you'll like Blaydes a little bit better. You'll like Aspinall better, but if you're looking for like a low owned play, I don't think Spivak's a bad look. Spivak going for Vandara's neck round 2. Jared will gas easy. That's what I'm thinking. Just by looking at the weigh-ins and in his fights in general, the dude slows down. So Smilin' Sam says bet on Vandara. I don't know who Smilin' Sam is. Spivak and cash? No. I think in cash you probably go up there and get your Blaydes instead. Let's see here. Spivak's body doesn't even look close to what he looked like last fight. The man shaped up. He did. He looks in great shape compared to Vandara, especially. Blaydes 100% lineups or what? We'll talk about it, but yeah, Blaydes will be in, I want to say like 80 to 90% of my lineups. So I'll kind of talk about why in a little bit. Blaydes and Spivak can't have the best same lineup. Unless you add more dog. Yeah, there's some dogs. What's up, Boston Nick? How you doing? I was thinking the same thing, and the money keeps pouring in on the fight goes to decision and on the over, so I was going to wait a little bit, but yeah, good point. Under 2.5 at plus 100 looks good. Both these guys typically finish, and we got to remember they're heavyweights, and they're in a small cage. Vandara, I don't know if he has the gas tank to go a full 3 rounds. So yeah, I don't hate the under here. That might be something to look at. Good point there. Let's see here. Spivak plus Rosa parlay. I don't hate it. Smiling Sam Alvey. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sam Alvey's on Vandara. Okay. Aspinall's a lock and a half. We'll talk about that. Daukaus versus Olynyk inside the distance. What's up, Vince? Daukaus is a new fighter. He is a new fighter. Spivak by sub plus 310 is a good one. Yeah, that's interesting because Vandara is a black belt, but the sub prop for Vandara is plus 2,000, which is really interesting there. But yeah, I can see it. I can see like a late sub from Spivak. Maybe Spivak in like the third round is something interesting to look at. Let's see here. Eddie Wineland is going for John's chin. I hope so. We'll talk about that. I'm excited for that fight. All right, so we'll get into. He does not like getting hit hard. Spivak plus Ember's parlay. Don't hate it. Let's see here. He does look soft. All right, so we'll get into the next fight. And a fight I really want nothing to do with. So Drake Rodriguez is somebody that missed weight, I want to say, by like 4.5 pounds. I'm probably one of the only people out there that went out there and took a shot. Well, picked Aiemann Zahabi. I'm not going to bet him or anything. I don't have confidence in this pick, but seeing the weigh-ins gives me a little bit more confidence in the pick of Zahabi. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm kind of on an island on this one with Zahabi. It's just watching Drake Rodriguez's fights. I watched about 5 or 6 of them, and pretty much all of his fights I watched, I didn't see as much striking as I'd like to. I saw him initiating grappling with his opponents. I saw him get taken down quite a bit against Tony Gravely. And of course, Tony Gravely is a fantastic fighter, but Gravely was able to dominate him for 24.5 minutes until he eventually got him out of there. Gravely took him down a good 10 times. And like I said, that is Gravely, but I have seen him taken down by other opponents in the past. And really, if he's going to play the wrestling grappling game with a guy like Zahabi, a black belt, I just don't know how well that's going to work out for him. So I actually see this fight being fairly close. Probably does go to decision. The thing with Zahabi, and like I mentioned on my breakdown video, in his first 2 fights in the UFC, he's coming out there. It looks like he's motivated. He's coming out there throwing a lot of volume, looking decent. Then he got knocked out by Ricardo Ramos with a spinning back elbow. And then in his next fight against Vince Morales, he went out there. He looked timid. He looked bad. I think if the Aiemann Zahabi that comes out and like he looked like in his UFC debut, like he looked like against Ramos, comes out there like that with some pace, with some significant strike volume, I think he has a good chance to win this fight. But yeah, if he comes out here and looks like he did against Vince Morales, he's probably going to lose. But the weigh-ins for Drake Rodriguez, not really a good look, but still not enough for me to pull the trigger on Zahabi. I really want nothing to do with this fight as a whole. But on DraftKings, I will have some interest in Zahabi just because he's another dog. He's so cheap. But as far as a bet, I really don't want to put my money on this fight, really. So I'm going to stick with my pick on Zahabi. The weigh-ins gives me a little bit more confidence, but not something I'd personally put my money on. Let's see here. Draco's beat nobody. Zahabi, same. That's true. Zahabi has helped train a lot of guys, but when it comes to being athletic, Draco wins that all day. Yes. Can't trust a guy who had COVID recently. Blaydes had COVID recently as well, I believe. Sean O'Malley will become champion this year. Mark my words. Don't know about that one. Let's see here. Performance bonus for either Haas or Imavov. Yeah, I could see it. Draco looks like he hits hard and fast and quick on the ground. Yep, very good ground game. Draco the dog pound. Let's see here. Draco has combined amateur and professional record of 17-1, yet Aiemann turned pro early, then fought bums. That is true, and got to the UFC because of his last name. Fade Zahabi all day. Yep, you can fade him. I'm fine with it. Like I said, I'm the only person on Zahabi, so we'll definitely see. Actually, I did see Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast is on Zahabi as well. I think he actually pulled the trigger on him. What's up, Justin Jr.? Just a little something for the work. Would love to have you come back on my show and predict fights with Mr. Yamasaki. Keep it with great work. Thank you, Jeannie, for the dono. Really appreciate that. Dude, Brady had COVID recently, and you can trust something like that. Whoa, Ngannou has no power. Interesting take there. Is Draco being overweight going to help him or hurt him? I don't know. Did he have? I don't know. He looked bad. He didn't look great on the scale. So maybe he tried to cut the weight. I don't know. I guess it could help him a little bit if he does, go to that wrestling grappling game like I do expect. But I really don't know. Let's see here. Fight doesn't get the decision. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Just because both guys are actually, decent finishers. Rodriguez has an 86% finish rate. Zahabi has an 86% finish rate. I think both of them only won by decision one time. And both have been finished before as well. So I was thinking about that. It's a decent line as well. But really, I want nothing to do with this fight. Fight doesn't get the decision is plus 135. I really don't want any action on it, honestly. What's the safest bet in your opinion? Probably Blaydes. Draco will gas early. He could. Exactly. He has power. All right. So he did. He looked much better at faceoffs. No debating that. All right, so getting into the next fight, we have Jamal Emmers versus Chaz Kelly. And I just think that Jamal Emmers is going to have a massive advantage on the feet. I really don't think it's going to be close on the feet. Going to be the faster striker, the better striker. He's going to be the younger guy. Chaz Kelly is getting up there in age as well. Took a lot of damage throughout his career, coming off some injuries, coming off of a decent-sized layoff. I like Emmers here. Do I like the minus 240? Probably not. Chaz Kelly is somebody that's very dangerous early. So if Skelly's going to win, it's going to be probably in the first round. It's probably going to be by first round submission. We have seen Emmers submitted before. Of course, it was a while ago, but I'm just not confident enough to put Emmers in a parlay or anything. But I do think he wins. As far as DraftKings, I don't mind both sides here. I think Emmers can keep this on the feet, land a lot of significant strikes, maybe take down Skelly, although it's playing a dangerous game, but definitely possible. Skelly at 7,400 is not a bad play on DraftKings. If you're looking for somebody with some upside, if he wins, it's probably by submission. So I don't hate Skelly on the DraftKings side of things at a very cheap price of 7,400. But as far as a bet, Skelly by submission plus 640, not awful. But ultimately, I'm definitely going to pass there. I don't really like the minus 240 of Emmers. At first, I thought it was going to be a possible parlay piece for me, but Skelly, looked really good at weigh-ins. Like, he looked fantastic. And I am kind of concerned about if Skelly does get this fight down to the mat in any type of way. So, but give me Emmers. I'm going to take Emmers to win, probably by decision, maybe a late knockout as well. Skelly is a beast. Yeah, I mean, the dude has a really, really good ground game. Emmers is going to piece him up nervous if it hits the ground. Of Skelly's sneaky transitions, reversals, 100% with you. I think that Emmers is going to piece him up, but if it does hit the mat, I'd be sweating. If I had a bet on Emmers. Emmers finds ways to lose. I mean, yeah, against Chikadze, I thought he definitely could have gone out there and got some more takedowns. Who do you think the field is too low on? What's up, Chris? You playing some MMA this week? I'd probably say like the first fight of the night, Sergey, Spivak, Vandara. I think nobody's going to play that fight, and I do think it has potential to score decently. I think Skelly is live, but at the age plus the layoff is a bad look. That is true, but he did look good at weigh-ins, so I don't know. Emmers wins. I'm looking at the Emmers by decision, and it's plus money. Could be a decent bet. Jamal Emmers by decision, decent bet. Yeah, Emmers by decision is plus 135, plus money. So, yeah, it's better than that, the minus 240. Who is my favorite underdog? It probably was like Pat Sabatini. But now it's probably, I guess I'd say maybe Eddie Wineland who we'll talk about. But it was Sabatini. I like Sabatini a lot. Heading out to watch some tapes before odds comes on tonight. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good night, Justin. Yeah, I don't mind Minner as well. Sabatini was my only dog, I think. Yeah, sucks that fight's off. All right, so getting into the next fight here, we have Nate. No, we don't. We have Casey ONeill. I wish we could skip that fight, but we have Casey ONeill versus Shannon Dobson. Casey ONeill somehow, some way opened up minus 240. She is currently at minus 150. Shannon Dobson opened up plus 180. She's currently at plus 140. So some money is coming in on the Shannon Dobson side. I don't hate it, I guess. Just watching tape on ONeill, she's not great. She's not good. She's fought nobody. So I get, the love I see on Shannon Dobson. I know Shannon Dobson's 4-4 and all. She pulled off that big upset against Agapova. Agapova went out there and she pulled a Rodolfo Vieira, and she kind of gassed out, allowing Dobson to get that early second round finish, which was kind of awesome because I bet the under 1.5 in that fight, fully expecting Agapova to finish her in that first round, but she survived. But she was able to cash that under 1.5 for me as well, so that was cool to see. I think Agapova was probably like the biggest favorite in history. I mean, she was like minus 1,000 and something. It was insane there. But as far as this goes, this is about as low level as it gets. Casey ONeill only 5 fights. 5-0, Dobson 4-4, 50-50 record there. And it's just a stylistic matchup for me. Casey O'Neill, what she's really good at is wrestling. Her grappling's really good, or I wouldn't say really good, it's good. And Shannon Dobson, a big stat that I want to touch on, and a lot of people pointed this out, and for a good reason. Shannon Dobson has a 0% takedown defense, and out of like 8 takedowns she's faced, anybody that's tried to take her down, they've been successful in doing so 100% of the time. Every time that somebody's tried to take her down, they've been able to do so. So I do expect ONeill to take her down, kind of grind her out. I don't see her subbing or anything, but I do like ONeill in this fight. Do I like her enough to place a bet? No way would I ever put my money on this fight, especially at the minus 150. If she was like an underdog, like maybe I'd take a shot, but I do expect ONeill to go out here, get takedowns, get top control, probably win a decision. The path to victory for Shannon Dobson would be to stuff her very first takedown. That would be one. Keeping it on the feet. I would favor Dobson. It's just the takedown defense is so bad. Seeing her get taken down 4 times by Sabina Mazo, controlled on the mat by Sabina Mazo, who's a striker, just not a good look for me. So I'm going to go on ONeill. As far as DraftKings, I do have some interest with ONeill, as we've talked about lately, that this new scoring system does favor these wrestler grapplers. ONeill is just that. I don't necessarily see her getting a finish, but I could see a lot of control time, a lot of takedowns. But if you want to take a shot on Shannon Dobson, go for it. It's something I wouldn't do personally. The smart move would to be not put any money on this fight at all. But I'm gonna take Casey O'Neill to get it done. But yeah, probably one of the lower level fights on the card, to say the least. Yep, Dobson 0% takedown defense. Dobson with 140 points scored this fight. Experience, yep, she does have the more experience. She has fought the better competition. ONeill is not good. I agree there, but Dobson is trash. Yeah, Dobson, she looked better in the Agapova fight, but we got to remember Agapova, her gas tank looked awful. Do we need a chick fight for the optimal lineup? We've seen the women's MMA fights being on optimal lineup as of late. This card, probably not. I mean, we have 14 fights on the card. I see a lot of finishes. I don't really think that you need to have either two of these fights on here. Casey is small. Yeah, not the biggest fighter. ONeill by ground and pound KO. Possibly. Last time I bet against Shannon, it destroyed my ticket. I won't do it this time. Yeah. Shannon's going to win for sure. Fluffy took an 0 last week, and now Dobson about to take an 0 this weekend. I mean, she could. It's just she's going to have to stuff her first takedown. I mean, I want to see it first before I put any money on this fight at all, which I would probably never do. Shannon going to KO her? I could see it, but again, you got to stuff the takedowns. Let's see here. Yes, we'll talk about that, the height difference with Close and Pena. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to bet this fight as well. I'm with you, Billy. I mean, yeah, you got to improve it from 0. Hopefully we see it improve from 0, but again, every time somebody's tried to take her down, they haven't been able to do so. She isn't bad and rapidly improving. That could be true. Keep betting ONeill, please. You won't see me betting her, don't worry. So. Hey, Brady, do you sell any merch? Trying to get that DFS hoodie? Yeah, I do. I'm going to get that out. I'm going to get him out there really soon. If you want to hit me up on my Twitter, DFS_numbers, I can hook you up. Haven't officially released it yet, but it's getting really close. So, bet money that she'll be. If that's a bet, take it. All right, so getting into an exciting fight, we have Nate Landwehr versus Julian Rosa. Nate Landwehr, definitely a fan favorite, definitely a fighter that is fun. We saw him in his last fight against Darren Elkins. He was out there, he was screaming a lot of the time. It was exciting. I mean, the dude is an exciting fighter. Going against Julian Rosa, who in this fight, I will say this, I think that Rosa is the better fighter. I think he's the more technical striker. He does get hit a lot himself. He has been knocked out quite a bit. He has 4 knockout losses. The chin isn't all that there. He's somebody that engages into these brawls, and he doesn't really have the chin to do that style. So as far as this fight goes, I like Landwehr. I like Landwehr just due to him being the more durable fighter. I think that's going to play dividends in a fight that I do expect to bring a war. Landwehr has no problem engaging in a brawl. Rosa has no problem in engaging in a brawl, and I mean he shouldn't, but he does anyway. So I do see this being a fun fight. especially in the small cage. I see there being a lot of volume thrown, but I got to go Landwehr here. Decent finisher, 57% finish rate for Landwehr, all by knockout. And I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if he did finish a Rosa for the 5th time by strikes here. So, yeah, give me Landwehr for the win. As far as DraftKings, Landwehr is probably one of my, I don't want to say one of my favorite plays, but a play I really like at the $8,100 price tag. I think he's fine in cash. I don't necessarily see a Rosa finishing him. I'd be kind of surprised. If anything, I think Landwehr can get the finish here. He's going to be throwing a lot of volume, and I like him to win. Probably going to knock out here. As far as a bet, I don't hate the line where it's at. -120 for Nate Landwehr. The only thing I will say is, and why I haven't pulled the trigger on it, is because of how hittable Landwehr is. And I do think Rosa is the better fighter, but sometimes the better fighter doesn't always win. We saw it, last week. So give me Landwehr here to win by knockout. I think a decent prop is Landwehr plus 325 by knockout. It's actually not bad. And maybe the under is something to look at as well. But give me Landwehr here. I'm going to have a decent amount on DraftKings. As far as a bet, if anything, I'd look at that KO prop, but probably going to pass here and just sit back and watch. It should be a really fun fight. All right, so who do you guys have in this fight? Can the chin of Juicy J take the shots? I think not. I'm with you. I think he's going to take a lot of shots. Can the chin hold up? I don't think so. 69 likes. I love the number. I like it too. But let's get it up, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 150 by the time we get out of here. That would really mean a lot. Nate the Train going to KO him. This is the toughest one for me. I mean, yeah, it is tough, and I can understand why the line's close because it's obvious. Rosa's probably the better fighter, the more talented fighter, but it's just a chin, and I feel like this fight's going to be a war, and really, who does a war favor? Definitely the Landwehr side. How do you say Landwehr winning? Probably a knockout. Landwehr by knockout win. Fight no distance could be. Nate the Train, I like it. Let's see here. Nate the Train. Yeah, the dude's exciting. Can't wait to see him. I got Nate. That's why I say no distance. He'll get finished. He'll finish or get finished. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Because Rosa's not a bad finisher himself. We saw him get that sub in his last fight. Let's see here. That is true. Landwehr did KO lots of tough Russians with decent records. Very true there. Don't know much about Wineland since he was Scarface to O'Malley. Is he decent or just old? Yeah, we'll talk about Wineland next, actually. He did get knocked out by Herbert Burns. Dude, I remember that fight. Herbert Burns got the nice knockout with the knee there. And yeah, that's something to worry about. But Landwehr, I mean, it was kind of like a fluke thing. I don't think his chin's bad or anything. But yeah, that was crazy. 21 finishes. There you go. Yep. So both guys are decent finishers there. All right. So getting into the next fight here, and I'm so excited for this fight. People might not care about it, but I really do. John Castaneda versus Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland actually opened up a -170 favorite. Castaneda opened up +140, and Wineland is currently the dog at +110. And I was kind of thinking the same thing pre-tape. I want to fade Wineland. The chin's gone. He looked awful against O'Malley. But after digging in a little bit more, I'm not impressed with John Castaneda at all. I don't think he's a great fighter. I think this is kind of a bad matchup for him in a way. Castaneda, going back and watching a lot of his fights, a lot of times we see him going out there and working that ground game, getting takedowns, and that's a big part of his game. And he's more than likely not going to have that opportunity here against Wineland, who has a very good takedown defense and a really good sample size as well. Wineland has like an 83%, 84% takedown defense. So I see this playing out on the feet. I see this being a war, as are a lot of Wineland's fights. And Castaneda has no problem engaging in a war. But, of course, the big concern is the chin of Wineland, the durability of Wineland. He got knocked out by O'Malley, very bad knockout. But prior to that, he hadn't been knocked out since like 2016. So I don't know. I mean, he's been knocked out 4 times in 36 fights. So it's not awful. But John Castaneda, and at the same time, he doesn't strike me as somebody that has, vicious knockout power. I mean, he only has a 35% knockout rate. Could he clip Wineland? Maybe he could, but he doesn't strike me as somebody that has this crazy knockout power. So I'm not all that concerned about that. Going back and looking at the record of Wineland and seeing what's going on there, Wineland, every single fight that he's won since 2012 has been by knockout. This guy has not won a decision since 2012, which is, absolutely insane to think about. So when I saw the line of Eddie Wineland wins by KO plus 575, I had to jump on. I had to put a little bit on it. So this is a play I have. I have Eddie Wineland to win by KO, TKO. I got it at plus 550. I have 0.25 units on it. Just a small sprinkle there on a prop that I really think's off. I think if Wineland wins, there's a good chance it's by knockout. Castaneda has been knocked out before. And, just factoring the level of competition, Wineland's fought the better level of competition by a decent margin. And like I said, I'm not impressed with Castaneda in the slightest. As far as DraftKings goes, I think Wineland at 7,900 is not a bad underdog to look at. I think he has finishing upside. Like I said, all of his wins since 2012, that's like 8-9 years, have come by knockout. So this should be an exciting fight. This should be a war. It's all up to if Wineland's chin holds up. I lean towards yes, and I lean towards him knocking out Castaneda here. So give me Eddie Wineland for the win. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. All right. Eddie Wineland at TKO within one round. I'd love to see that. Sexy Mexi by decision. Let's see here. Herbert Burns KO was a fluke. Got to get some people in timeout here. My bad. Got some trolls in the chat. All good. Wineland by KO plus 550 due to serious power. 8 UFC knockdowns in the bantamweight division is serious power. There you go. I like it. I need help picking this fight. I really like Wineland. He's a warrior. You see his pick on Sherdog covered in blood, but I see the outcome as a decision. Yeah, I'm more so leaning towards a knockout. It could go to decision, but I really do think that Wineland could get a KO here. Fading Wineland, no shame in that. Castaneda's kickboxing isn't bad at all. Constantly swapping stance, good kicks. I mean, he's not bad, but I just think that, Wineland is currently the better fighter. Even at 36 years old, I'm just not all that impressed with Castaneda. That is true. Very confusing. Very exciting as well. How is TKO plus 550? He has 15 TKO. Silly mistake by the bookies. Yeah, I think it should be closer to like a plus 250, plus 300 situation. So I do think that's off. Concerns me that Wineland has a lot of KOs, but not a lot of losses by KOs. Let's see here. Good call, Brady. Taking Castaneda. Sugar show. The General Alex Ramirez, how you doing? Buy me a sugar hoodie, 50 beans. I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, just enjoy. I mean, it's going to be a fun fight. I do think it's going to be a war, but yeah, give me Eddie Wineland here. Give me the veteran. I mean, the dude's been fighting since like 2006, so I'm really looking forward to that fight. I may be the only one looking forward to that fight, but it's going to be a good one. All right, guys, we have about 300 people in here. If you can please leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would appreciate that a bunch. Like I said, really trying to reach that 10K subscriber goal. It'd mean a lot if we could get that, hopefully by UFC 259, which is a crazy card there. So let's try to get to 150 likes by the time we get out of here. Danny in the building, what's up? All right. So getting into the next fight, I don't have too much interest in this fight. I will talk about the weigh-ins just a little bit. We have Jakar Close versus Luis Pena. I will say that Pena looked huge. He looked huge compared to Close. He's going to have a massive reach advantage, a massive height advantage. Pena looked like a whole weight class above Close. I'm still sticking with the Close pick. The line came down a decent amount, minus 155 currently for Close. I'm going to stick with Close. I was actually tempted in picking Pena. I really liked what I saw on tape where guys would take him down. He'd threaten with submissions and he'd do it, a decent amount. He was able to get these reversals and sweeps with, threatening with different submissions on the mat. So I did like that. As far as the striking goes, Pena is going to be throwing the more flashier stuff, the better looking stuff. It's just he's a little bit too low volume for me. And, not saying Close is, crazy high volume, but Close is going to be throwing the more volume. I do think he's going to be the stronger fighter, the better cardio, has fought the better competition. And I do see Close, holding up Pena against the cage, occasionally taking him down. But yeah, overall, this is going to be a close fight. So I really want nothing to do with it. If you're on the Pena side, I don't hate it, but Definitely a big pass for me, and there's really not any props I like. I was thinking of like close by decision because he's not really a finisher, but even then, plus 120, just don't have interest in it. So as far as DraftKings, close is an easy fade for me. Somebody that typically does not score well on DraftKings. This is a fight that's going to more than likely go to decision. So not touching close on DraftKings. As far as Pena, somebody that typically does not score well on DraftKings. I think on a 14-fight slate, you don't necessarily need to get there. But if you're looking for an underdog in a close fight, I don't think Pena is the worst play in the world. So, but overall, not much interest in this fight from a betting perspective. I think it could be, kind of fun though. Drakkar, easy money. Pena doesn't use length. Close will spam calf kicks. How do you feel on Derek Minner round 1 plus 850? I will talk about that soon. But yeah, if you're on the Minner side, go ahead and hit that round 1 if you are on Derek Minner. Thoughts on Mason Jones versus Mike Davis, a fight that happened a month ago. I thought Mike Davis, got a close decision win there. Exactly. Close is always in these close fights. Both fighters are great. Either one is taking a decision here. I like close more in this fight, but man, the reach and length of Pena, yeah, it could play a factor. So definitely not touching it from a betting perspective. Oh yeah, Pena by decision plus 300. It's really not bad. Wineland versus Castaneda is Brady's main event. No, dude, my main event is Casey ONeill versus Shannon Dawson. That's going to be an absolute war. Rosa going to win. Close by decision plus 120, and then Pena by decision plus 300. So, yeah, not bad. Sideshow Bob loses a decision here. What's up, Christian? Hype the chat, hit and like the bell, and tomorrow and collect the money. I like it. This is a close one, I agree. Sideshow Bob. Did you see what Pena did to Worthy round 2? I sense a bounce back win against a tough out. He could. I mean, he looks ready at the weigh-ins. He looks a lot bigger. So I don't know. Just not comfortable enough pulling the trigger, especially with the lines that now coming down so much. What's the best dog to bet big on this week? I mean, I personally had a bet on Pat Sabatini, but that fight's off. So Pena is coming in on 8 days' notice. You're right. All right, so getting into the next fight, here we have a very interesting one. I see a lot of takes on this one. Danny Chavez versus Jared Gordon. Chavez opened up as a plus 120 dog. He's currently sitting at a minus 140 favorite. Jared Gordon opened up as a plus 150 dog, or minus 150 favorite, and currently as a plus 130 dog. And this fight was so hard for me. I mean, watching the tape, the limited tape on Danny Chavez, there's literally like 2.5 fights out there. There was a TJ Brown fight, a fight from like 5 years ago, and then like a little highlight tape. So there really isn't much to go off of Danny Chavez, and that's why I don't really have confidence in this pick. A lot of people are talking about the improved takedown defense of Chavez. I mean, he was able to stuff 6 takedowns on TJ Brown, but I remember in that fight that Brown came out there with one of the worst game plans I've ever seen. I mean, Brown went out there and stood with him for a good round and a half until he finally shot for a takedown. But by then he was already compromised, already got his legs kicked in, already got hurt a couple times. So I really expected Brown to go out there and test that ground game early of Chavez, and that's exactly what Jared Gordon's going to do. So I still don't really know where Chavez is at. This is going to be a good indicator of where he is at with his takedown defense and his ground game. But I'm going to go Chavez here. I don't love the pick. I don't love the line. This is probably one of the biggest passes for me on the fight card. But Jared Gordon, one thing I will say is the chin's not there. He's been knocked out in all 4 of his losses. Chavez, not much of a finisher. 27% finishing rate, which is the worst on the card, worse than fighters like Casey ONeill, stuff like that. But he has some power. He showed it in the Brown fight. He hurt Brown a couple times. And if he can't stand with Gordon, he probably knocks him out. But what I'm concerned about is Gordon coming in, taking down Chavez, holding him down, grinding him out, using that experience. He's fought the much better level of competition. And one thing I didn't mention is Jared Gordon missed weight today, and he didn't look awful at the weigh-in. So I think he may be, one of those things where he's using that extra weight to his advantage in a fight where the game plan is going to be to grapple Danny Chavez here. So could be something to think about. Could be a type of strategy. I mean, we see it more often than not where some guys, miss weight on purpose. You'd think that, they get kind of an advantage there in, split their game plan with the wrestling, the grappling. the weight advantage could be a big thing. And Jared Gordon looked, a decent amount bigger than Chavez as well. So I don't hate anybody taking a shot on Gordon, especially at those odds. I'm definitely 100% not touching the Chavez money line at -140. I thought about the knockout prop for Chavez at +245, but just going back and watching his fights, doesn't have the finishing ability I'd like to see from the guy. But I'm going to slightly take Chavez here with like zero confidence, just because I think he does keep it standing and he does eventually clip Gordon, but just not something I'm confident in. As far as DraftKings, I think this is something you want to have. I think it goes one of two ways. Chavez stuffs the takedowns, he finishes Gordon on the feet, or Gordon's able to take down Chavez, get control time, get takedowns, all that good stuff, significant strikes on the mat. I think if there's a finish, it's on the Chavez side, but Gordon definitely does have a decent upside with this new DraftKings scoring system. So I am interested in this fight. I'm not interested in putting my money down. I see a lot of people really confident on Chavez. I just don't know how you can be with so much limited tape, but we'll definitely see here. This is going to be a very good indicator. He did look pumped today. Let's go Chavez. Chavez playing mind game. Yeah, they got into a very, very intense face-off. That was awesome. Chavez KO. Gordon looked huge here. He must have known he was way off. If he wrestles, it could be a wrap. Yeah, kind of the worry there is the wrestling is that weight advantage that Gordon now has. Chavez is the truth. I mean, he could be. Just he hasn't really proved anything to me yet. I mean, beating TJ Brown is not something that's overly good looking to me. Heavy is can't pull up the comment. There we go. All right. Heavy is going to favor Gordon. Yes, it will more than likely. I agree. Hit the like button. Chavez. I mean, he could. I mean, Gordon's never lost by decision. Gordon has never lost by submission. So, yeah, if you think that Chavez wins, it's probably inside the distance. Let's go, Gordon. Shabrady. Can't talk about my boys like this. It hurts my heart. No, I think Gordon's live, but I just don't want to put money on it either way. Gordon has faced so much better competition. A loss to Charles Oliveira, no shame at all. I agree there. He's faced way better competition. But, yeah, lots of love on the Chavez. I don't necessarily get it, but I'm going to side with him. If it goes to decision, it's because Jared Gordon probably wins. If it ends inside the distance, it's probably because Chavez knocks him out. So it could really go either way, 50-50 there. Yes, he did. He missed weight by 12.5 pounds. Insane. I got Gordon. Gordon is definitely live. Yeah, I mean, he's a live dog for sure. Man, the dogs might be barking tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. This fight will be like Rodriguez Marquez. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that means, but I hope it's not like that fight. What's up, MMA Locker Room Mills? How you doing? The only dog barking is Shannon Dawson. Maybe. $11.5. All right, so there's the Gordon backers. Yeah, I mean, it's a close fight. It's a really close fight. All right, next we have a very exciting fight. And Tom Aspinall versus Andre Arlovsky. And, yeah, I like Aspinall here a ton. I see a lot of love for Arlovsky, and I see a lot of love from a very, decent amount of sharp guys as well. I just don't really get it, honestly. So I'll tell you the play here, and then I'll kind of break it down a little bit. So I do have a parlay. Tom Aspinall parlayed with Sergey Spivak. I got it at -104. I have 1.5 units on it, and I like that parlay a lot. We already talked about Sergey Spivak, but I really like Tom Aspinall. I really do. And kind of just looking through the last couple fights of Arlovsky, and it seems to me like there's a lot of recency bias. I mean, in the last fight, in a fight that I thought he lost, I mean, Tanner Boser was able to not just, outstrike him ×2, double up his strikes. He more than doubled up his strikes. And I really thought Boser probably won that fight, but they gave Arlovsky the win. Don't necessarily know why, but Boser did outland him in every single round pretty comfortably. But the judges were not, scoring leg kicks all that much in that fight. So he won a close fight. It was unanimous, which is even more crazy. But he won a close fight against Tanner Boser in a fight that I really thought he lost. He did not look great in. He did not throw anything, very hesitant. And he's been hesitant as of late, but that was probably the most hesitant we've seen him. Against Philippe Lin, somebody that really shouldn't be in the UFC. He won a close fight as well in a fight that he landed like like 50 significant strikes, something really low as well. Philippe Lins was even more low volume. So just those 2 wins, just not great looks. And then before that, got knocked out by Rosenstruck. So in the past couple fights, like these are the guys he's beating. Tanner Boser in a fight that I really thought he lost, like comfortably. Philippe Lins, bad win there. Ben Rothwell towards the end of his career. Stefan Struve, and then Junior Albini. Those are his 5 wins since 2015. I'll repeat them again. Junior Albini, Stefan Struve, Ben Rothwell, Philippe Lins, and Tanner Boser in a fight he probably lost. So, yeah, just not impressed. I know Arlovsky has changed his fighting style compared to what it used to be. Due to his chin, he doesn't have the chin to engage in a war. But, yeah, we saw in the past 2 fights where his opponents are being very timid out there. They're not throwing a lot, although Boser did outland him 2-1, but Lins did not throw a lot. Guys like that. Aspinall is somebody that has a lot of volume. He's somebody that does not, we haven't seen him get into the 3rd round yet, but just watching the weigh-ins, he looks to be in good shape. His hands are going to be very fast. He's going to have a pretty good speed advantage. He's going to have a massive volume advantage. And really, Arlovsky's path to victory here would be the same thing he's done in the last 2 fights, winning a very close, controversial decision. And I just don't see Aspinall being the type of guy to fight down and, play the game of Arlovsky, making it a boring fight. Really, to beat Arlovsky at this point, all you have to do is either A, knock him out, which is it happened more often than not, or B, just throw more volume, which is really not hard. So I like Aspinall here quite a bit. He doesn't have to worry about the knockout power of Arlovsky because Arlovsky has not had a knockout win in his last 17 fights. 17 fights, and we're in the heavyweight division, so that's crazy. So I like Aspinall here, but I do see a lot of sharp guys on the Arlovsky side. I don't get it, honestly. Aspinall is probably one of my more confident picks, and I do have him a parlay with Spivak. So yeah, give me Aspinall there in that parlay, and I might be looking at playing him by knockout as well. Arlovsky has been knocked out 11 times. I can definitely see it here. Aspinall, 100% finish rate. And I like Aspinall a lot. So give me Aspinall, and I might be looking to add a little bit more onto that. Could be wrong, but man, it just seems like such a winnable matchup. Like Aspinall also, Aspinall round 2 or round 3 KO. I'm probably more on the round 1 side. I just know Aspinall has lost his fights when it got to the 2nd round. Yeah, he lost one of those fights because it was like an illegal shot to the back of the head, something like that. And then the other one he did get submitted, but that was like so long ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. Arlovsky KO at plus 1,005. I mean, he hasn't had a knockout win in 17 fights, so I don't know. He's never won a fight that went past the 1st round. What don't you get? What don't you get? That's fine. I don't see it getting outside of the 1st round anyway, but if it does, I think it's fine. Boser is a small heavyweight too. Yeah, Boser's a very small heavyweight. Aspinall is like 6'5", built, jacked. He looked great at weigh-ins. All good there. What's up, Preston? How you doing? Boser would murk Aspinall. Man, are you okay, dude? Who is what? All right. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Arlovsky about to get added to the veteran graveyard. Going to be sad. I hope so. I hope so. Boser only lost because he gave the UFC a boring fight, very boring fight, something you don't want to do. Yeah, in a fight I thought he won as well. Aspinall won't be afraid to enter their pocket like Boser was, and he'll make quick work of it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think he knocks him out pretty early. What is wrong with that competition at heavyweight? Struve, Boser, Rothwell, all good. I thought he beat Sakai too. I don't know, man. Boser lost because the judges didn't score leg damage, which is kind of foolish. Yeah, I'm with you, dude. And even then, like Arlovsky didn't land like anything. Maybe he landed one hard shot. And I remember one of those hard shots touched the chest of Boser, didn't even touch his head. So it's crazy. I got Frank Mir Jr. by KO. I like it. Aspinall may gas. I assume that's why he's getting love. Yeah, it could be, but he looks in great shape. He looks fast. He looks good. I don't think he'll gas, but again, I don't know that. We haven't seen him go into the 3rd round. Aspinall TKO minus 120. I don't hate it. Arlovsky. Spend time on your Patreon article. It'll be getting out sometime like 11, 12 tonight. Let's see here. What's up, Connor? How you doing? If Chris Lee didn't judge that Arlovsky Bozer fight, Aspinall would be a minus 800 favorite. It's just all three. It wasn't just Chris Lee. I don't know if he was judging, but yeah, Chris Lee actually was judging. I do remember that, but it was all three judges that gave Arlovsky the win, which really confuses me. I thought once I heard the 30-27, I thought Bozer got it, but no, crazy. TJ's a casual. I mean, just some hot takes there. Let's see here. What book you get? I get Aspinall KO for plus 100. Yeah, I like that one. All right, so we'll get into the next fight here. We have Phil Hawes versus Nasruddin Imavov. Very good fight here. And as you guys may or may not know, I did have a bet on Nasruddin Imavov last time they were supposed to fight about a month ago. But the problem is I bet that at I want to say plus 150 or plus 160. The line is currently plus 100, plus 105. So yeah, definitely passing there. It's just unfortunate because I would have liked to have that plus 150. But now that the line's probably where it should have been anyway, I'm going to pass here. Yeah, so I did go back and watch some tape. What I noticed was Imavov is a lot more hittable than I'd like. And, we all know the big narrative here. It's either Hawes is going to get that first round knockout or he's going to tire, slow down. Imavov takes over shortly after, all that good stuff. So I think it's going to be a very dangerous round for Nasruddin Imavov. Hawes is going to come out there trying to get the finish. He's going to try to get the finish early. And it's up to if Imavov's shin holds up or not. If it does, I do think he takes over. Hawes is on a 5-fight win streak, though. Both guys are. It's just going back and, looking at some of his past fights. He has gassed out in the past. The dude has never won by decision. Phil Hawes has 7 out of 9 wins in the first round, and those 2 that he won in the second round, they came early in that second round. So, yeah, the dude's a finisher. The dude's a monster. I don't want to touch the plus 100 on Imavov. If it was like plus 140, plus 150, I'd take a shot then, but this is probably where it should be lined. I do think this is a 50-50 fight. So I'm going to slightly take Imavov to weather the early storm of Hawes, take over late. I really like what I see from the guy. Fantastic striker. They call him the Russian sniper for a reason. He's very accurate. Does leave his chin a little bit exposed as well that I don't like, but I'm going to slightly take Imavov, but not going to bet it here. Something I really liked even last month was that fight doesn't go to decision prop, and I did pull the trigger eventually. I got it at minus 210 last time. It's like minus 275 now, so that's not even playable, which sucks, but I'm going to sit back and watch this fight. Don't like the lines. If you're on Hawes in round 1 is not a bad look. If you're on Imavov round 2 or 3 is not a bad look. And on DraftKings, I'm going to have a decent amount of this fight, especially in this price range. If Hawes wins, he has a very good chance of winning in the first round. I think that's why Hawes is like one of my favorite plays, and I'm not necessarily picking him to win, but if he does win, he's going to score a ton. So I do like Hawes a lot for a tournament play. I wouldn't really go there in cash, and same thing with Imavov. I wouldn't go there in cash, but if he does win, it's probably a finish, and it's probably late. Hawes has never been to decision. Never. He's never went to the scorecards. He has both of his losses inside the distance, one by KO, one by submission, and he's finished 100% of his wins. And Imavov's a decent finisher himself. So I do expect this to end inside the distance, and it should be a fun fight for as long as it lasts as well. So I'm going to slightly take Imavov. I don't love it, though, especially at the line. Pass is a really good idea there. Hawes versus Imavov fight to not go decision for sure. It's either Hawes by KO or Imavov by sub. Hawes is lucky if it does not go to the ground. Yeah, I'm with you. I do think it finishes Hawes to smash. Let's see here. Ask yourself what happens if Tom doesn't get a first round finish. Could look like Vieira. I don't think anybody could look like Vieira, man. I could go out there and not look like Vieira. I mean, that was one of the worst. That was one of the worst cardio displays I've ever seen in my life, dude. It was bad. It was worse than Agapova. So I don't think we'll have a Vieira situation on Tom Aspinall. Let's see here. Phil Hawes looked good in the weigh-ins and first round KO. Yeah, he's definitely live for that first round KO. Arlovsky landed 30 strikes on Bozer. Yeah, that's a ton. Come on, 30 strikes. Come on. And won. Yeah, it's crazy. 30 strikes and he won the fight. Bozer landed like 85. So it was crazy. Brady by TKO. I agree. Yeah, I'm not happy with the guy, dude. I'm not happy with him. That was crazy. I don't know if he had something was wrong with the dude, but That was crazy. Yeah, could have been one of the biggest stunts I've ever seen. It was crazy. Dude, at the UFC 260, Big Brady versus Vieira main event. I don't know about that one. Vieira showed signs of it against Bihoda. If you watch tape, just couldn't take advantage of it. Yeah, I mean, Vieira is somebody that got a late second round submission in one of his fights. I think it was his UFC debut. He got a late second round submission. Notice I say late, and notice I say second round. So we actually did see him go out there and get, later into the fight, and was still able to get a submission in the second round there. So that was just crazy, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I hate the move off striking defense. Darren Till effect, backup hands out. Head up, chin out. Yep. Daukaus over 1.5 plus 134. Don't know about that. It's all that muscle. That's a fight that we'll probably see in a couple of years. I think both guys are really good prospects. So who would win right now? Dude, I don't know. Both guys are black belts. Both guys have some really decent striking. I don't know, man. I think it'd be a really good fight. I wonder where they'd line that. Yeah, it made no sense. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I didn't see you coming on here last week saying that Fluffy was the play, but now you're saying it. We get that all the time. All right. Tom Aspinall by TKO if he fought Daukaus. Why are we talking about the Marquez fight? The fight was... Yeah, I'm just upset. I left money on the table. I was pretty high on Marquez, but, the layoff really scared me. Yeah, that fight was nuts. That fight was a very, very good fight. All right. Sleaze Nation, 10 units on Arlovsky. Wish them the best of luck. All right, so getting into the next fight here, we have Chris Daukaus versus Alexei Olynyk. And I'm so excited for this fight. This fight is going to finish, and it's going to be fun. And you see it right there, minus 685. Fight doesn't go to decision. So it's safe to say this fight's going to end inside the distance one way or another. And I do have a bet on this fight. It's really hard to, bet either side here, especially. I mean, I like the Daukaus side. I don't like the minus 190. But what I did was I bet the under 1.5. I got it at minus 150. I have 1.5 units on it. Basically, I think it goes one of two ways. I think Chris Daukaus comes out here with the game plan he had last time against Castaneda, which probably works here. It comes out there in the first 60 seconds, tries to get that knockout. He's going to have a massive speed advantage, a massive striking advantage, and I think he can knock out Olynyk in the first couple minutes there. On the flip side, if Olynyk is able to, clinch up with Daukaus, take him down in any way, shape, or form, whether it's pulling guard, dragging him down, Olynyk is very live for a submission. I know Daukaus is a black belt, but Daukaus has been submitted before a couple of years ago. Of course, he's made improvements since then, but it just wasn't a great look. And Olynyk has, quadruple the fights, if not more, than a Daukaus. Daukaus has 13 fights. Olynyk has 75 fights. So if Olynyk does get this down to the mat, he definitely could finish it by submission. But I just see it going the other way. I see Daukaus coming out here with the game plan of, trying to take off Olynyk's head in the first couple minutes, and I do think that works here. So, especially Olynyk. Olynyk is 43 years old, almost 44 years old. This could be one of his last fights. I'm not saying it's his last fight, but could be, could be getting really close. I mean, the dude's been knocked out a ton, been knocked out 8 times. The gas tank's not there. We saw in the Derek Lewis fight last time. Started that second round, he had nothing. He had nothing left. So if this does hit the second round, I really do have concerns about Olynyk and what his gas tank will look like as well. And the thing with Daukaus, I have seen him slow down a ton in the past, but the dude's looking in a ton better shape than he has in the past. So I'm not overly concerned about the gas tank, but either way, I don't think you have to worry about it here. I think Daukaus gets it done early, but I do like the under 1.5. I don't love the minus 190 on Daukaus. If it was sitting at minus 150 earlier in the week, I was thinking about maybe pulling the trigger on that. Decided not to, and now it's minus 190. I'm definitely not playing that. So give me Daukaus. As far as DraftKings, this is going to be one of my higher owned fights. I think this does finish. I think it finishes in the first round, whether it is a Daukaus knockout or whether it is an Olynyk sub. I'm going to have a ton of Daukaus. I'm going to have a decent amount of Olynyk as well. But yeah, really looking forward to see this fight. It probably doesn't last long, but it should be pretty good. All right, so who do you guys have in this one? I see a lot of Daukaus love. I get it. I definitely get it. Only 13 fights though, so it's gonna be a big test. It's gonna be a big test. Imagine putting 10 units on Arlovsky in 2021. I cannot imagine doing that. I'm gonna time somebody out here. All right, same story as the Arlovsky fight. Everyone is on the young kid that's beating trash cans over the staple of the division. You're right. Olynyk has obviously faced the better competition there, but the dude's 44 years old. Let's see here. Bet Andre, buddy. Bet the house. Alexei is always live, though. I agree with that. Daukaus is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That is true. I personally haven't seen anything, good with that, but he is a black belt. Daukaus sub prop, dude. It's like plus 2,000. So yeah, if you think Daukaus can sub Olynyk, plus 2,000 for you. Round 2 to start, minus 110. Yeah, you're gonna be sweating. You're gonna be sweating nonstop. I put 0.5 units on Daukaus by decision. 2 units straight win. Yeah, Daukaus by decision is plus 800. Olynyk by decision is plus 1,090. I might sprinkle Olynyk by sub. Yeah, if you're going to play Olynyk, probably play him by submission, which is plus 280. So you're getting a little bit better line there. Which fights are off the card? Just the Sabatini-Alves fight. That's the only one. 3 most confident picks. It had to be Blaydes, number 1. Aspinall, number 2. And I was going to say Vieira, number 3, but just seeing the weigh-in's not a good look. Give me the third one will have to be Spivak. How does Daukaus' takedown defense look? It looks okay. When he's fresh, it looks okay. When he's not fresh, it doesn't look great. But when he's fresh, it looks good. It's just he hasn't really fought the best level of competition. So I do think Olynyk, if he does clinch up with him, maybe he does take him down. If at that point, he could be in some trouble. Daukaus by TKO KO minus 135. He won't sub him. Yeah. You could do that, but I'm just gonna pay a little bit more for the under there. Come on now, how do you all think the old timer will win? He is a year from coming to Octagon with a walker. Yeah, the dude, he's up there. He's 44 or 43, and he looks a lot older than he actually is. He looks like he's like 49, honestly. Like, it's crazy. Daukaus quick, sharp round 1. I'm with you there. Pat did look good at weigh-ins, so it was still good to see him. That's true. All right, so we'll get into the next fight here. I know we're at like an hour, but this is like a 14-fight card. If you guys can hit the like button, would really appreciate that. Trying to get 150 by the time we get out of here. Subscribe if you have not yet, and then remember to tune in to Pub Sports Radio Live tomorrow. I'll be putting the link in the description. We're going to be talking some live betting during the fights. Talking with some guys over there, having fun, hanging out, all the good stuff. So that is on Pub Sports Radio Live. All right, now we have Charles Rosa versus Derek Minner, and yeah, this should be a fun fight. I really want to play like the under in this fight. I just don't like the line. Derek Minner is somebody who is the definition of kill or be killed. He's the definition of a live dog. And I got to touch on these numbers. Derek Minner in 36 fights, 92% finish rate, 88% by submission. And the dude's lost 10 out of his 11 fights by finish, 2 by knockout, 8 by submission. So he's either getting the sub or getting subbed himself. And Charles Rosa, the thing about him is he's never been submitted, which is a good sign. Was able to not stay safe, but stay out of a lot of trouble against Bryce Mitchell. Was able to defend off like 20 submission attempts. That fight was insane. Bryce Mitchell did dominate him from pillar to post, but was able to not get submitted, which is a good sign here. It's just I will tell you one thing, and this is one thing for sure. Rose is going to be put in a ton of bad spots early. I mean, Minner gets these guys in bad spots. If you can fight out of them, you're probably going to win the fight. You're going to get a finish shortly after Minner does gas out, because he does put everything into getting that early finish. But yeah, he's going to put Rosa in some bad spots. I remember the Grant Dawson fight, and I had a bet on Grant Dawson in that fight, and I was sweating the whole time because Minner almost submitted the dude like 3 times. He got him in like a really deep guillotine choke. I thought Dawson was about to tap. His face was completely red. So Rosa's going to be put in some bad spots. It's just, does he fight out of those spots or not? I'll tell you one thing. I'm definitely not paying, the minus 185, minus 190 on Rosa. That's kind of crazy because Minner is so dangerous. But I do feel like it's a decent matchup for him. Just survive that first round, take over shortly after, probably get a submission later in the fight. So I'm going to take Rosa here, but not touching the minus 190. I think it's going to be super dangerous. If anything, I like the under. I just don't like the price. I like the fight doesn't get the decision. I just don't like the price. It's at minus 265 now. People have been on that all week, and rightfully so. We see more often than not, Minner either wins by finish or gets finished himself. So as far as DraftKings, I'm going to have a ton of this fight. Rosa, I think he can get that second or third round sub. Minner, I think he can get that first round sub. And Minner's so cheap on DraftKings as well, 7,400. So if you're looking for a live dog, if you're looking for somebody that's going to fight for your money, fight for a finish, I don't think Minner's a bad option there. So, yeah, should be a really fun fight. Like, all Minner's fights are very exciting for as long as they last. So, but wouldn't touch the minus 190 on Rosa. You'll be sweating the whole time for sure. All right. Rosa is a veteran. He is a veteran indeed, but Minner has a decent amount more fights than him. Minner has like 36 fights. Rosa has 17 more fights. So double the fights, actually, which is something crazy to think about. Rosa by sub or decision? Yeah, I'd say either sub or decision. I'd more so lean towards a sub, but decision is likely. Putting a YOLO bet on Daukaus by sub plus 2,000. There you go. If you didn't know today, you will know tomorrow. Rosa is a close personal friend of Boston Next. Really? There you go. That is true. Rosa never been submitted. People are putting way too much stock into Minner by sub. Bryce couldn't sub him. Yeah, I'd say so. Rosa all day. Caution to win Minner. That is true. That is very true. It'll be a very sweaty first round, but yeah, I'm going to go with Rosa here. And I wish the under 2.5 was a little bit better line. I would have played it. Can't possibly be worse than the spots that Mitchell put Rosa in. That could be true, yeah. I don't think Minner has much of a shot, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think Rosa wins, but it's gonna be dangerous. Rosa's second round finish. Yeah, I'm thinking second or third. All right, so we're gonna get to the next fight real quick. I don't want to talk about this fight, really at all. Vieira versus Yana Kunitskaya. I'm going to take Vieira. I did not like what I saw at weigh-ins. She did not look all that great. She missed weight by 2 pounds. Looked very sluggish at the weigh-ins as well. Kunitskaya plus 235 now. I really want nothing to do with this fight. But what I did do earlier in the week, I thought this line was off. And the thing about Vieira is I really like her takedown game. She's very strong, very good takedowns. She's a very good grappler as well. She's a black belt in BJJ. And Kunitskaya, something I do want to point out, and I think it's important, is she has a 33% takedown defense. I mean, Aspin Lad took her down like 3 or 4 times, and I do think Vieira can definitely take her down here. If she does, I think she's going to have a lot of success. We have seen Kunitskaya submitted 2 times. For that reason, I took a small little sprinkle on Vieira by submission. I got it at plus 400. I have 0.25 units on it. I think there's a decent chance that if Vieira does get this to the mat, and I do expect her to, I don't see why she wouldn't, to possibly find a submission here. And she did miss weight by 2 pounds. It didn't look like a good 2 pounds. I mean, I do think the heavier weight does give her an advantage, but it didn't look like a good 2 pounds like it did for like a Gordon. But that is a concern. But if she does get this down to the mat, I do think that she has potential to find a sub. And at plus 400, I did take a small stab there. But again, she did not look great away. And so I wouldn't go too heavy on it. I wouldn't really throw Vieira in a parlay or anything, especially at minus 255. The line is coming down a little bit. But yeah, give me Vieira for the win here. I'm still sticking with her, although she did not look all that great at the weigh-ins. Minner's dangerous, especially as a dog. Yes, that is true. I've been on Lewis as soon as it came out. Yana the dog. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this is the co-main event. There's so much better fights in this one. Black Beast. I got Kunitskaya by decision, 30-27 plus 290. Passing on anyone with the name Vieira after last week. What's Yana's path to victory? No, I agree with you, dude. Another Vieira, not great. So Yana's path to victory would be keeping this standing, staying at range, throwing a little bit more volume, maybe holding Vieira up against the cage a little bit, but making this very boring, a very ugly fight. Tom should have been the co-main event. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. Even Daukaus Olynyk would have been a good co-main. Even Hazimov would have been a co-main. That would be exciting. Landwehr, a Rosa would be fun. So I do think there's some other things that could have been a better, more exciting co-main event than this one. Vieira's eyes look drained, ruins the bet. Yeah, she didn't look great. Let's see here. Black Beast all day. I got a Bottle of Soko on it. Okay, I'll take that bet there for sure. I'll have some Kunitsukai and Draftkings. Her price is great, and she can meet in with control time. She could. Vieira looked hurt at weigh-ins, and Kunitsukai looked good. All true. All true. I wonder what these marketing meetings are like for the UFC. Fire whoever keeps scheduling these chicks as co-main. I mean, yeah, I don't mind women's MMA as like a co-main, but this one in particular, I don't see it being all that exciting. Came in late. Favorite pick so far, I'd say Aspinall, Spivak, and then Curtis Blaydes we'll talk about a little bit. So getting into the main event. Before we do, if you guys can leave a like, again, trying to reach that 150 mark. Subscribe, that'd be sweet. We have about 300 people in here. Good turnout for tonight. A little bit of a longer video, but we have a 14 fight card. I will be posting my betting breakdown video on tomorrow morning. I'm going to be recording that pretty soon here. I might add another bet or two. There's something I'm looking at, like with the Rosa Minner fight doesn't go to decision. I might do like a fight doesn't go to decision parlay, something like that. So look out for that. You can also follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. I'll be getting my bets out there on Saturday as well. If you want to talk fights or anything, my DMs are always open, usually pretty good at getting back to you guys. So now we'll get into the main event. We could talk about the stats. We could talk about Curtis Blaydes being the best wrestler in the heavyweight division. We could talk about Blaydes landing 7 takedowns per 15 minutes. We could talk about Lewis having a 52% takedown defense. We can talk about Lewis having, a non-existent ground game, and I really like Blaydes in this matchup, and we see money coming in on Blaydes, and we see a lot of it. Blaydes is now minus 435. He's like minus 500 on some books as well, and it's really hard to not see why. I mean, it's such a terrible matchup for Derek Lewis. It's, striker versus wrestler, grappler, and Blaydes is, one of the best wrestlers in the heavyweight division right now. So, yeah, I like Blaydes here. I think he's going to get takedowns at will. It's just, when does he finish this fight? I do think he does finish. Derek Lewis has been knocked out 5 times. He's been submitted once. A lot of people are thinking maybe a Blaydes submission, which it could happen. Lewis does expose, his neck a little bit when he does get up. And I do expect Lewis to get up a decent amount of times, but with the way that Lewis gets up, it's just it's so weird. He'll just either explode up. He'll, if someone's in mount, which he gives up position so easily, he allows guys to get into mount. He can either buck you off, or he gets on his hands and knees and just really stands up, exposing his neck, exposing his head. And he's going to be able to do that for sure. He's going to be able to stand up. It's just, how many times can he do that? How much energy is that going to exert? And he's fought some guys that have taken him down in the past, but he's never fought somebody that's going to take him down 10 plus times. And I do see Blaydes taking him down 10 plus times. And I eventually see Derek Lewis tiring out, gassing out, covering up. And I think Blaydes is going to finish, I want to say, in like the 3rd or 4th round. I don't see this getting too far, especially with the pace that Blaydes is going to put on. If you're on Lewis, you might as well bet him by knockout. He's not winning a decision. That makes no sense. He's not winning by submission. If you're on Lewis, bet the plus 570 knockout. This is the only way of winning. But Blaydes is just not going to give him that opportunity. Blaydes is one of those dominant fighters that a lot of people don't like. People like the exciting fighters, the fan favorites, like a Derek Lewis, like a Gilbert Burns. People don't like these dominant fighters that go out there and do what it takes to win. And that's just what Blaydes does. He has no problem with people calling him boring. I remember in his last fight with Volkov, people were upset that the fight was so boring. And I was happy. I enjoyed every second of it because I had a bet on Blaydes, and I have a bet on him here. So I do think Blaydes wins. I think he makes it boring. All good, but I do think he ends up finishing it in like the 3rd or 4th round. So I do have a bet. Like I said, I bet Curtis Blaydes to win inside the distance at minus 175, and this is my biggest bet of the night. I have 2.5 units on it. If you like Blaydes, I think he's a fine parlay piece as well. But I do expect Blaydes to win. I was thinking about sprinkling the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round as well. Might be something to look at, but ultimately I went pretty heavy on the inside the distance prop. So yeah, give me Curtis Blaydes. And as far as DraftKings, it's going to be like literally 80, 90% exposure. I'm going to have a ton of it because if he wins, there's a really small chance that it's not optimal. So yeah, give me Curtis Blaydes here. House on Blaydes. I wouldn't go that far, but I'm pretty confident. And you can never count on a guy like Derek Lewis, but it's just Blaydes isn't going to give him the opportunity to really do that. I'm kind of worried that Derek was talking about wanting to fight Overeem. Oh, goodness. What a fight that would be. Yeah. Let's see here. Missing a lot here in the chat. Trying to catch up. Do you feel confident that this fight will end one way or another? It's 5 rounds, so I think so. Yeah, I think it does end inside the distance. Blaydes will dominate Lewis until the moment he isn't anymore, and when that moment comes, Blaydes will either survive or he won't. Every Lewis fight is the same. Yeah, but you got to remember that, Blaydes is somebody that has extremely good cardio, and I know he gassed out a little bit in the Volkov fight towards that 4th and 5th round, but if you go back and look, he's still going out there, gassed or not, he's still going out there and getting takedowns on Volkov, and Volkov has, a lot better cardio than Derek Lewis. Blaydes, you met him last February, and he was one of the nicest fighters you ever met. I mean, yeah, he seems like a really nice guy. How does Blaydes get the finish rather than the decision? I'd say ground and pound, but a lot of people think submission, maybe. I mean, I think he could if he tried to submit him, but probably ground and pound for me. Blaydes late finish. Took the over 1.5 with some LFA. There you go. Yeah, I like the over 1.5, but it's like minus 200 now. I saw an interview with Lewis, and he said he wants a new contract, so he wants to show out these next couple fights. Lewis KO prop might take a sprinkle. Yeah, if you're on Lewis plus 570, that's literally how he wins. He wins by KO. Who has the better gas tank? Blaydes, and it's not even close. He mentioned that's why he wanted to fight Blaydes last year, so he could have fought Overeem right before he took the Volkov fight. They say Blaydes fights are boring, but don't say anything about his 7 finishes in the UFC. Yeah, they don't say anything about that. So only 4 of his fights have gone to the cards. There you go. All right, guys. Any final questions? Any final thoughts before I get out of here? It's been a longer video, probably the longest live stream, but we had a good turnout. I'm going to quickly recap the bets that I have 5 of them. Had 6 of them, but lost the Sabatini fight, which sucks. But have a parlay with Tom Aspinall, parlayed with Sergey Spivak, minus 104, 1.5 units on that. I have Eddie Wineland wins by KO, a small sprinkle at plus 550, 0.25 units on that. The Alexei Olynyk Chris Daukaus under 1.5 rounds, minus 150, 1.5 units on that. Curtis Blaydes to win inside the distance, minus 175, 2.5 units on that. My biggest bet of the night. And then Caitlin Vieira, a small sprinkle on the submission prop, plus 400, 0.25 units on that as well. So those are the 5 bets. I'm looking at a couple spots. I really, really do like the Rosa min or under. I just don't like the price. Maybe it's a good parlay piece. And I might be looking at throwing a little bit on the Aspinall KO as well. So that's about it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you can hit the like button once more. OMG, this is over. Yeah, we've been going for like an hour 15. Good times, late. Good luck. Good luck to you, Freddie, as well. Hey, hit that 150. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Thanks for the video. Always appreciate it. Thank you, Loomis. Thoughts on Mr. Arkansas leaving YouTube? I hope he doesn't, but we'll have to see. Great show, Brady. Thank you, Connor. I enjoy the Blaydes fights you guys don't see who can throw around. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to me. I mean, it's exciting. Volkov may have the best cardio in the heavyweight division. Definitely up there. The dude's a beast. Jack Attack, my parlay, Spivak, Aspinall, Daukaus inside the distance, plus the over 1.5 for the main event. Yeah, dude, I like it. I'm with you on all those. Appreciate your work, Brady. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you for hanging out, Andy. Thank you, Christian. Thanks, Brady. Let's go. Blaydes via sub, plus 900. Yeah, plus 900. Could be worth a sprinkle. I think it's there if he wants it. It's just, will he try to sub him or not? I don't know. I'm more on the ground and pound side. Thank you. Good show. Thank you, Jake. All right, guys. I'm about to head out. Thank you so much. And if you want to talk about any fights, hit me up on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. My DMs are always open. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. And yeah, check out PSR Live tomorrow if you guys want to watch some fights with us. We're going to be doing some live betting, all that good stuff. It's always a fun time. So that's about it. And good luck, guys.